tonight for a brief while. So I'm gonna see if anybody shows up. See how everybody doing. How's your weekend going? If you are celebrating Father's Day, wishing the fathers every day because they don't get to do so. Want to acknowledge that if you are, if you're not, I understand. A lot of different topics to talk on. So you know, uh, summer's about to be approaching in about a week. So see what people are talking about. Being safe, being careful out there. Talking about the economy. A lot of things going on. Um, so we're going to talk about this NBA Finals. We're going to see what's up. See what comes through. Um, a lot to take in. So I'm going to be here. If I get anybody, I'll be here for like an hour. If I don't, I'll call it early night. So you know, we'll see what we're talking about. Just gonna wait till someone shows up. You know, you know. I'm gonna be just on here. I'm gonna just kind of chill. Gotta scroll through some stuff. See what we got. Let me see what we got. I don't even be knowing. Somebody popped up. We're gonna see who that is. I have to play tic tac toe to see if anybody's there. But I am live. Always welcome people's comments. Tell me where you're coming from, who you are. All right, what's happening? How you doing? Doing good. Good to see you. Where you coming from? Glad to have you come through tonight. Well, when you say mate, it sounds like you're from England. Because they don't say mate in America. And they say it in Australia too. So that's the only place I'm going to say. It's got to be somewhere in Europe. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing good. Okay. Okay. But glad to have you come through. Oh, wow. You're the best of both worlds. Wow. Wow. So do you live in Australia or you live in Britain or? You crack me up if you tell me you live in France or if you live in Italy or something. That would be wild. I'd say beans on toast for me. What's happening? How you doing? Okay, live in London. Okay. You live what part of London you live in? We went there in February. Had a great time. What's happening? What's up, Jay Will and Latia? They played team ball. That's why they cooked. They did what they supposed to do. Tim Hardaway Jr. showed up. They played team ball. Okay. And where? Oh, so where's that by in terms of the main area? They can make if they can win Monday, they make it into a series. I don't think no one sold on Boston. That's why Boston doesn't bring the hype. I know they 64 win team and all that, but there's something about them that just doesn't sway people. That's why I told you. I've said it before. I know Jalen Brown's balling out of his mind, but I just some about them too. Well, I gotta know more about you. So tell me more about you first before I start talking about age. Because you telling me you're in London. Well, Porzingis is a fixture in the middle. That's huge. They're better than the Mavericks without him because they should have enough to beat them. But you can't get beat like that, though. That's embarrassing last night. They didn't even show up. To get waxed by almost 40 in his past game, too, you're allowed that in game one or two, maybe. You're not allowed that after game three. That's embarrassing. That's a beatdown. Which goes to show me that Cleveland beat that, waxed that butt like that. And Indiana should have won about 2 or 3 games. That's why people ain't taking Boston serious. Okay, gotcha. So how far is that? Is that near Buckingham? Just because I went by Buckingham and I was by Wimbledon by the train station, so I'm just curious. And I went all through the parks and everything. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Okay, 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 okay. Spicy D. Okay, yeah, okay, okay. I heard about Brighton. Thanks for letting me know. Are you East Indian with the name Joti? Deborah just asking. That wouldn't be a bad move. Wouldn't be a bad move at all. Because the only way he's gonna get to the finals is going back to the East. We already know. He's not seeing no more finals in the West. We already know. The old guard is done. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. And your family lives in London too? Hey, if he's smart, he goes to Philly. If he's smart, he gets out of there. Well, he's got his citizenship. Ain't gonna make no difference because I don't even know if he'll be able to play because he'll probably flew around and get hurt. I don't even know. If I was him, I wouldn't even waste my chances. But I told Ted, I said him, LeBron, AD, Curry, Durant, all of them are gonna be ready for the Olympics. I called that when we round one. All of them. If you got citizenship, you can do what you want. If you ain't got citizenship, but it ain't gonna make no difference. I'm not hyped on Team USA, no way. They should win, but if they don't win, I won't be shocked. They got an old man team, by the way. To me, they put more emphasis on doing the Olympics than they did, postseason. That's just my take. Anyway, okay. Bit dizzy. Okay. Okay. I heard of him. I've heard of him. He's supposed to be pretty good too. All right. Might check that out. I heard of him. Because I saw the Tank Davis thing on some boxing, but I heard of him. Okay. 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 Wow, you got the best of multiple worlds. That's amazing. Yeah, that's what I thought. You Punjabi or no? Zanzibar. Heard a lot about Zanzibar. Old Earth, Wind, and Fire song. Okay. I'm learning about the culture. You like the prime minister in England or no? Okay. Okay. Oh, correct. And your bingo. Okay. That's good. I'm learning. That sounds cool. It's like, wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I did a video on it, J Will. I did a video. If you ever watch any of my videos, I did a video on that. And I laughed. I laughed. And I said, oh, I would love to know who his drug dealer is. Because I laughed so hysterical. That's what I thought about that video of what he said. Listen, I thought T Mac was a great talent, but he couldn't even get out of first round when he played. Well, I lived all across the states, East Coast, West Coast, North and South. So it's a combination of different places. Kicked it on the Isle of Wight too, by the way. Well, from West Africa, from African, obviously. Um, by way from Africa through England to America. Um, 5'10" is a little bit more than average height for a man. 5'10" be tall for a woman. Yeah, I could make the case for those. Well, you already know it's Jalen Brown, but okay, Ohio vibes. Well, I was born on the East Coast. Um, Jalen, but let me tell you a story. If they fool around and lose another game, or Tatum gets hot, that's why he only had 10 last night, and Tatum at 15. So keep your eye on it. Because if he somehow falls off and Jason Tatum gets hot, the fix is on. Even though if we go by the first three games, it was Jalen. Huh? What's up? Welcome aboard. Been on for about 10 plus, but how you doing? Got some cool folks in the building tonight. So, oh yeah, I mean, I saw what he said. I couldn't let that go. And I'm one of them. I guess you could say one of them black folks that's been guilty of kind of giving him a pass because of his mental condition, and because he vibes like a brother. And I also understand he's from New York, and he supports Trump to an extent and all that. And I got him growing up with Gus D'Amato and all that. But this was just, I couldn't help myself. I'm read what he said, and somebody wrote a comment that hit home about Central Park 5. Well, I had to call it out because he's one of the worst ones. He's one of the worst offenders who never gets called out. Now I knew he was raised with Italians. I understand that with Titty Atlas and the mod and all that. But this here of shuffling, and he's up there say that this guy's plot is like black folks. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is Richie Rich with a silver spoon. What the heck are you talking about, Mike Tyson? There ain't nothing about no black about no Trump. Shoot. How many black cabinet members did he have in his White House? How many? Well, he got Tim Scott and these generic sellouts thinking he gonna hook them up. He ain't hooked nobody up. You know. No, it don't shock me though, cause see, if you watch boxers, heavyweight champions, they've been a lot like him. Ali aside, Ken Norton, Joe Frazier. I mean, a lot of them were sellouts. Now, I'm gonna tell you like this: he wasn't a sellout, but Joe Louis got white acceptance because compared to Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was scary brother. He had white women. He drove fast and had a good time. They hated him, so they always like that. He did in his former life because he was all American, all that. He did, and then he somehow he bought a reputation for with the Foreman Grill and became lovable, and he wasn't. He was a mean dude, but he got saved with the church. But he did shuffle. But it's complicated with him. Yeah, he was. It was. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come on now. And they were a bad duo too. Remember, no 3-point line. That was a bad duo. Two of the greatest players ever. And you throw Will Chamberlain. Yeah, they should have won about a couple rings. Norton was so unorthodox, and he hit you with that off jab. Yeah, Foreman. No, not really. Kareem. If you think he's bucking, then you probably think Bill Cosby is, because there's a certain black male of a certain age that they look down on cats, and they're quick to the temperament and what they say about them. And he's from that era. It's kind of like what Cosby would say about younger black entertainers and stuff. That's what that was about. He said some tap stuff, but that was also doing with he was also coming from a generational thing. I think it's because he was coming at Kyrie because Kyrie was using it as a means to what he was saying. But you can think what you want to think about that. That's debatable. That wasn't the part that had me problematic with Kareem. It was about Kareem coming up Kyrie about the Jewish with the videos. Wasn't tripping about the jab. Even though health wise, cats got to take jabs to do everything to play. I mean, who are we kidding? You know, cats get need a needle to play. Sometimes they take cortisone shots. So who are we kidding? He did. I watched that movie from '76. I can't even think of it now. I have watched that movie. You should check it out. Type it in on YouTube, Ken Norton Films. It should come out in Ken Norton Movies. I watched it too. It was a good movie. Yeah, Mandigo. Yep. Mandingo, that's what it was. 1976. I watched it. He was good in it too. He was good in it. He did a good job. They were hooking brothers up with movies and TV shows until Leon Spinks came along. And when Leon came along, they said no more. Because Leon didn't have but three teeth, and Leon was funny. Oh yeah, he was a built brother, built like an ox. Had that built. I saw that mess. I didn't take that no take heed to that. How would he know? And I don't know if people consider Kyrie a superstar anymore anyway. Really? He can't even get picked to go to the dream team. He's not seen like Shea, and he's not held like Steph Curry. So make it make sense. So he's a superstar? I mean, come on now. Who's the best guards over in the East? Is he seeing Jalen Brunson? And I just saying this to just say, oh yeah, Ken Norton Jr. Was a great with the San Francisco 49ers. Won a couple rings, and then you saw him later. And then he became a coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. He was on Pete Carroll's team. Well, yeah, because I got so tired of hearing about this thing about Caitlin Clark. And I wanted to get to the real one. You're only polarizing when you're winning. If you're a music artist and you're dominating and people got problems with you and all that, you're doing it the right way. We do not talk about people who haven't won nothing as polarizing. Make it make sense. I mean, if you don't win, you're not polarizing. We don't sit around talking about people who don't merit the hype. Patrick Mahomes is in the Tom Brady, Joe Montana club. Caitlin Clark is at the start of her professional career, but she's basically the 7th to 12th person on the bench. She ain't won nothing. She didn't win in college. You know, what's happening? How you doing? It's kind of like, good to see you, JT. It's like Peyton Manning coming out of college. He didn't win. Charles Woodson won. Yeah, that's a great turnover. That's a great thing to lead them in. Coach put your butt on the bench the other night in the third quarter. Think I didn't see that? And I'm not going to say that her career ain't going to turn out to nothing because I don't know. But I know one thing. Her bony behind better get some bulk and better learn how to play without the rock, get teammates involved, and hit somebody, or she won't have a long career. Of course she does dirty play. I told everybody, and I'm going to say it again, had she won a chip in college, then it would justify the hype. She ain't win no chip in college, so therefore she don't get to be on the women's team. Therefore she's catching all the flack, and therefore people are like, she ain't win nothing. That's a great question. I think, yeah, of course they do. That's a good way of putting it too. Out of that bunch, you got to put Adrian Dantley and Dwight Howard. Now, I really don't pay off for a lot of attention. I think he's right where he is. He's been a role player for like 15 years. Because unless you go back when he's with the Atlanta Hawks or try it out with the Sixers, you don't really remember a lot of his career. It's been a long time since Al Horford was, no, not underrated. Not overrated, not underrated. Just, well, she got to win some games first to get an enforcer. She ain't going to get no Charles Oakley. She ain't that kind of player. Come on now. Yeah, I'd say Adrian Dantley and Dwight. I like Paul Gasol a lot, but I don't quite. Kyrie need to make a statement, and not quite, but he could. You could make a case for him. T Mac, you can make a case, but the lower end, Vince, lowercase, Matumbo, no. I would. I think it's an insult. He ain't. I mean, his defense and one of the greatest shooters ever. No, they don't care about them. That's why. They don't even say it about Audrey Wilson because it's like orange is a new black. It's like you beating up on our white girl. Oh yeah, Clay's legit. Clay is legit. Oh, John B is legit. Shoot. But they don't know about John B. They didn't forgot about old Clay. I think what hurts Clay is again when Durant came over and he fell to the third wheel. But he was Game Sex Clay. And people forget how big he come up. And I do defend Clay. But now, ooh, if it's ABA Dr. J, I'm taking Dr. J. Only because Jordan didn't have that fadeaway shot he did until he about the mid '90s and stuff. I'm taking Doc. I don't think too many Perimeter cats could have messed with Dr. J ABA era. Well, he have to have won it with the Knicks. He would have had to win with the Knicks. Um, that may have been the nod to Jordan. It's close though, but it may have been. But again, ABA Dr. J, we'll never know because that dude was a freak. But Jordan did catch up with him as time went, would have caught up with him, especially when he had his outside shot going. I think that when Jordan started maturing more in terms of that fadeaway and, was bringing it into his repertoire, because he was a raw bone player from 84 to 86, 87, but bad though. Well, you'd have to call out some names, but you mentioned AD, Dame, and Melo, so uh, I have to think about some of the other folks. If you think there's anybody questionable, you throw their names out and I'll tell you. It's been anticlimactic. It should be a 2-2 series. I don't think Boston is so much superior. They just played smarter. And Joe Mazzulla, they made some good choices and they've had a lot to work with. It's been kind of lackluster because it doesn't look like a blowout series. It just looks like one team is executing in some spots. That's all. But I'm not sitting up here thinking that Boston is some superior team. First of all, I saw the 86 Celtics. They, yeah, Ted, you finally were right. He must have listened to you on these message boards because he finally woke his behind up. Long overdue. They could still make it into a series. Lively was on them glasses. What about Billy Cunningham? No, Billy Cunningham was a bad white boy. He's an underrated white boy. He had hops and spring in him. Billy C was legit. Billy C was legit. Um, if they win Monday, and I agree with Charles Barkley, they win Monday, they will not leave Dallas without a W. I think Charles saw something that I saw too. It's still a close series because, yeah, I ain't got no problem with them top 75 because Tatum and Brown, you just know they can go Clunkerville. And they're known for, you know, he's number 2 all time as far as my all time receivers. Yeah, Billy Cunningham was an integral part of the Sixers back in the '60s. I would take him over Paul Gasol. Yeah, I thought Paul is in that really to very good. I don't look at Paul Gasol as great. I like Gasol, but his early part of his career in Memphis, he wasn't like that dude. And then when he left the Lakers, he wasn't that dude. He played for the Spurs and he played for the Bulls, and I wasn't like blown away by him. Yeah, I already know he is. You asked me what I thought about him. I said the second best receiver and one of the greatest players ever. I already know. I followed Randy Moss's career from the time he came out of college to when he played in the NFL. Oh, well, man, look, there's a lot of them like that. Kobe doesn't have to be elevated. let me put it to you like this: Kobe with Gasol was needed because he needed a big to win, but he also had Andrew Bynum. But it doesn't elevate him because they were a decent team. Well, you didn't ask me about him compared to C. Weber. You asked me, do I think how he was? That's a different answer. Yeah, Rob Schneider, all typical third tier actor, and that's common. He didn't sound no different than Bill Maher. That's what Bill Maher would have said. I tell you, there's a lot of hateful Jewish and white folks in that industry, and a lot of them are just saying what they've been thinking about Will. They watched his numbers. They wanted to see what Bad Boys 58 was gonna do. They were waiting in the wings. I thought he was a better college player, not a great NBA player. Oh yeah, well Hollywood got to have like 80 versions of a movie. But doing Bad Boys, it has to be 95. Chris Bosh, Dirk Nowitzki. Sometimes people are just self-explanatory with the questions. Of course, Bosh was better because he did more in Miami than Gasol could have done with the Lakers. He did have to do and facilitate a move like that. I don't think that Paul Gasol would have gotten a rebound and flipped the ball over to Ray Allen or blocked a shot at Tony Parker at the end. He ain't that kind of that. Russ Bosh did a heck of a lot of work. Gasol was integral for Kobe. Well, that's your choice. But Bosh was a 20 and 10 man in Toronto. Paul wasn't seeing that. Of course, Dirk over at Chris Webber. You asked me in college, it's Webber. Yeah, I'm not complaining as a Heat fan, but I tell you that was like almost like he got paid off or something. I mean, that was strange. Because if they don't win that, if San Antonio was that game, LeBron's probably gone from Miami. I don't know about all that. I know what he was, but his team wasn't better. Bosch was a factor with Toronto. Bosch moved me more. I like Gasol. I never said didn't like Powell, but Bosch moved me more. Bosch was more versatile as a big. Sometimes it comes down to what moves you. I don't know about Trado. I remember, and I didn't like no one who dissed Chris Bosch. Even Shaq did that mess, and I didn't like it because Bosch was an integral part. They don't win without Chris Bosch. You know, everybody remembers Skip going after him. Soft at points when the man came up with the most clutches rebound in Heat history, came out with the biggest block shot. Not only did the rebound and assist, but also a block shot of Tony Parker in the game. If that's soft, give me that. Give me that squeeze to Sherman all day. No, I can't let no one talk about Bosch because Bosch was a legit dude. He would have been. I don't think so. That sounds like a recipe for a first round knockout. Because first of all, you got an old man, and then the third slot, you got a young old man who Pandemic P, who will fall and roll, fold like a chair in the postseason. Yeah, he do. Yeah, he do. Yeah, he do. He was a great player. One of the greatest Heat players. Yes, he does. Well, Vogel got a ring. That's it. And he did a little bit more. That's all. But that's kind of a lame twosome, if you ask me. I would never think of Scott Brooks and Frank Vogel when I talk about head coaches. Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have no problem with Bosch getting it because I do like Bosch, and it's a shame that what happened to derail his career because he would have gotten a bigger bag and he would have been a factor. I do believe he did the thing. So Frank Vogel, yeah, yeah, yeah. KG, but it's two different dynamics at work. KG came up big. He was a league MVP. Big for Boston. Different dynamics. You're asking me a different level right there. KG gonna get that. Excuse me. I'm not gonna pick this though because I like somebody. I gotta be real fast, fair. I can. He wants to play the Olympics just like LeBron does, like Steph does, like Embiid do, like Anthony Davis do. You notice a pattern with some of these guys? All hurt, all old, all Chipper Jones. He was a great third base. I don't know why I rank him. I mean, they won a ring and he was great for his time. I don't put him as an all time per se, but he was great for his time. He's not a guy that I sit there and have like thoughts about where I rank him. If you're asking me for his era, he was great. Is he in the same conversation with Barry Bonds and Albert Pujols? No, but he was great for his time. You can have two things. You can be, one of the 25 or 50 best for his era. Pretty much. Well, you remember what I told you before the playoffs started? I told you they were gonna be ready. I told you first round they're gonna be ready. They got plenty of time to rest up. Did I call it or what? Steph Curry was up there with Charles them talking about I got so much free time. I said, don't worry, you're gonna have some people join you real soon. And they did. They did. Because them guys is fossils now. Them some fossils. So thank you for being a friend. I can hear that song in my head right now. Thank you for being a friend. Yeah, well, yeah, he was great. He used to, well, that's a lie because the last, aside from 2022, everything after 2019, he was used to it because pandemic one, they stunk. And then 2021, they got knocked out by the Lakers in one of them. They won the chip in 2022, lost in the second round last year. And so he's had a lot of free time, like what? Uh, what? 3 out of the last 4 years. So yeah, he's used to it. He can't say that because aside from 2022 and last year, 2020 they was horrible. 2021 Then he make the play-in tournament, and then last this year. So he's had free time. It's just that people done caught up in the league. That's all. That's all. He's still great, but they're not a head and shoulders. Pretty much. Pretty much. He stood out like the big boy on campus with Golden State. And ever since he left Golden State, he just looked like a wanderer. Like he been thumbing a ride. We're not gonna start this crap up again. I think you asked me this already. I told you I like Lewis Reddick better. I'm not going to dignify that. I'm not talking about people that are not in the playoffs or people that are, you know. mm. Trey better go to San Antonio, team up with him, know if he wants to not be forgotten as a lopsided trade bait for Luca. I'm not talking about him because he's not in the playoffs. I do a disservice. Well, depends on what the drafts they get. Depends on what the no, not because he didn't make do nothing. Wait till he come back next year. Colorado gonna be Dion's coaching offense. Their defense got to be better. They got to be fundamentally tuned. Not a 4-game season, not 8-game season. They got to do it. I like Dorisburg, but they messed up by Van Gundy. I think they're gonna get the message. They wanted some dry whiteness, and they got it. I like Doris though. And you know how I feel about JJ Redick, so that's all you need to know. But that's the face of the Lakers, so whatever. Wemby gets his love when he's in the playoff next year, and I will give him his love when it comes. But I'm not going to talk about somebody when he's not, where he's at. I'll be honest and tell you now. Oh boy, I gotta think on this. I think I did this in a video because I'd already been through Kelsey, Gronkowski, Shannon Sharp, Antonio Gates, Kellen Winslow Sr. It's off the top of the dome. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll be more geared when football season comes. Like I said, if you can't watch my videos and then you see some of the videos I've done, then you replay it, then you can ask me, some of the things, because I think I already did. Yeah, he is trolling. I'm not going to justify it. Because he's not in the playoffs. That's the disrespect. A 20-win team I'm not giving a lot of love to. Do you not get it? Get in the playoffs. We'll have this discussion in a year's time. Ted's not hating. We're not talking about that. You're doing a disservice to the Celtics and the Mavericks. You're doing a disservice to um you're doing a disservice to um um Minnesota, disservice to Indiana, um disservice to because teams that had success. I'm looking forward to him coming back next year. And I will talk about him. You're doing a disservice to OKC. Well, I'm sorry, Lynn. No, no, no. By all means, I apologize to you. Feel free. No, I was addressing the Colorado Buffs. I have no problem with that. I'm a big Deion Sanders fan. I'm pulling from to do well. And I've talked about them in the past. I think they got overwhelmed because they didn't play no defense and they choked some games. I want to see them do well, but I want to see what comes in the portal. But I also want Deion them to understand everybody's gonna give you your best shot. That mess with Oregon last year, the way they got waxed by SC, teams are coming for them. They're treating them like they won a championship. They're gonna get treated worse than Michigan. They're gonna have people coming at them. So I appreciate you, Lynn. I'm just gonna break it down. Well, it'll be interesting how they start off. But I'd keep my mouth shut if I was them. till you win 5, 6 games. No, that wouldn't be a problem, not at all. Wemby would be out of his element right now with Dallas. He couldn't do anything with Porzingis bringing him out. Okay, you want to come here and pop off about him? He didn't guard the 3-point line all that well in some instances. Porzingis would be a problem. Tatum would be a problem. Jalen Brown would be a problem. And he got flustered on in the back cuts. So back cutters he'd have to learn. So now, no. Again, he's a good player. Can only get better. But his team didn't dominate. Okay? So before we get on this, oh, Wimby would do this and do that. What did his team do? He's a rookie. Got a chance to be something special, but let's pump the brakes. So let's pump the brakes. Appreciate you, Lynn. Thank you. But that's all I got to say about the Colorado. Uh, respect your opponents. I like Tony Parker, but I would take 5 or 6 better point guards all time. He's one of those guys that he, you know, was very good. There's nothing to talk about because LeBron James came in averaging 26 and something, and he had a track record. I don't know about all that. Well, those are two topics that you ain't gonna do too well in. Sorry. Fought each other over what? Fought on each other over what? Over what? I saw them in the stands fighting over what? Got their butt dealt with last night. Got whipped by 38 points. What you fighting over? That you spent all that money on a plane ticket? That's what you should be fighting over. That your team was so flat that Luca outscored Tatum and Brown by himself? That's what you be fighting over. Shoot. I'll tell you something. If Tim Hardaway Jr. scoring like gives you 10 more, you're gonna lose again. I think if Dallas plays some defense and makes them into perimeter, because Dallas has a tendency to like to play cute. So yeah, LeBron was a better rookie. Yeah, Lively was on the rim last night. That's a problem. That's what they got to do is get energy, be aggressive, and push the tempo. They do that, they make this into a series. Boston is kind of lollygagging a bit too until they push the tempo. Got to make them run. That's what I do. Come on now. Come on. We've been through this a few times. You asked me some questions that come on now. Do you realize that the two acts that you're asking me about? One of them was a what album? A little bit of a wonder. Ludacris got a career. Come on now. That's not even funny. That's not even funny. Stevie, better catalog, better career, more impact. Love Luther vocally, but if you go down the line, Stevie. Asking me about Chingy and Luda is kind of like asking me about, oh God, who could I pick on? I gotta make this count. That's like asking me about Tyler Hero and Luka Doncic. That's what that'd be like asking me. And Chingy and Tyler Hero more compatible, and Luda and Luca are compatible. It's a lopsided one. If you read me, you know I'm going. Yeah, that's not even funny because Chingy had a couple hits and all right. No, well, if you don't know, maybe I don't know because people say some stuff that I couldn't imagine they would say. But Chingy hasn't really been heard from since what 2006, 07. You know, that's all. And I'm not gonna air out Chingy, even though I heard he be chasing certain preferences. You gotta go look that up for yourself. But that's not what the discussion's about. Luda had a better career. Luda got more hook work better. All right, I'll do that on the video, Ted. I'm not gonna do that here. No, I didn't apologize for. It's just that, like, Ted brought me a good question about Luther or Stevie. That's a strong, good question because I'm gonna pick Stevie. I have to think about it. But you putting up somebody who would be a borderline scrub against a guy who had an impact, that'd be like asking me out a little flipping Nas. A little Nas X against Nas. You see where I'm going with this? So, but now, maybe you expect me to say something crazy. I don't know. Go see the doctor. Go see the doctor. Brian McKnight. Come on, man. Come on. Tyrese could sing, but Tyrese never did nothing all the way well. Brian McKnight's a better singer, songwriter, musician, producer. Forget his personal life, but then again, forget Tyrese's personal life. But if we go by talent impact, you're gonna know more Brian McKnight songs than you are Tyrese. If I say Tyrese's songs, you're gonna probably stop in about the '90s. You probably don't even know about the Black Tie rap career, do you? See, Brian's got songs. You know, that's cool. Though. No, I don't mind questions as long as like I said, we you can ask them. You can ask them. It's just that we got things. Well, I'm not the biggest Little Wayne fan, but he's considered one of the 25 greatest rappers ever. I'm not big on him, but he has his fan base. How did his team do? AM. How did his team do? So you could sit there and throw all the stats, all the percentages. How did his team do? Because if your team ain't competing for a chip or you're legit, but yeah, Lil Wayne. But Lil Wayne is, he has a deep fan base. I mean, his fan base is super big. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. I saw that. I might do a video about that. What that means is he will do interviews with different places, but he doesn't want to go through he because TNT afforded him a place where he didn't have to be tied and chained, unlike the ESPN plantation or the Fox Sports plantation or the NBC plantation or ABC Studio plantation. He does a CBS thing for college, and then he gets to be him and kind of roll. But the TNT thing allowed him to be a little bit more uncut and to develop what he got. So I get it. Why would he go and sign and be stiff with JJ Redick and you can get fired quick? Because they don't want personality. They want light beer from Miller or be stiff necked like Reggie Miller, who will get a job somewhere. Different album, different, you know. He changed the course of athletes in the booth. Yeah, he'd probably punch him in the face if I know Charles, and he would. And probably wouldn't mind. Because Barkley has a way of talking where that's why he connected with people. He connected. You know, you gotta know how to connect. And just because you go to school to be a journalist and talk don't mean nothing. Yeah, we do, we do. And because they were such a dynamic, because Chuck because Chuck and Kenny, but the Shaq. No, we don't want to see it. I said I thought that was Shaq. I misread it. No, we don't. No, no, I don't. Only in the octagon. Only in the octagon. I don't want to see that. No, I'll let you in on a secret, which ain't a secret. No legit superstar athlete will give Skip Bayless the time of day. If you didn't know, I already know. Chuck's one of them. Emmett Smith's another, and I mean they cross sports lines too, and generations. No, so yeah, well, rightfully so. You might say that you fruity. What you expect? Even though the Troy thing, there was some stuff going on with him. Troy got hit with tag like that, just like Randy Travers, the country singer, did. So I heard some stuff, but but still, Skip. But I know Skip wasn't feeling him because he wasn't. Aikman as a quarterback, though he's got 3 rings, we don't talk about him as some all-time great quarterback. We just don't. We don't. We don't. That's a fact. Great for what he did, but not like we sit there and debate him. We don't. We don't debate him. If you took a Mount Rushmore Dallas Cowboys players, he's not gonna get on that. He won't get on there, and that's just a fact. So he done more than wonders for them. He done brought them back from the dead. He did more than he brought them back from the dead. You know, because the thing is, without him, that show was headed for the grave. He sent up there with Keyshawn and Sherman. You know, Rachel Nichols done a little something, but without Paul Pierce, that show was getting ready to get canceled. They needed the personality and the realness. They needed that. He did more than help them. He gave them a credibility. Yeah, he just like an old smoked out groupie. He sits up there and he slurps on Green Bay or Aaron Rodgers, and he slurps on the Lakers and just says whatever. And he's not that intriguing. But because Skip knows a black rapper, that's fashionable. That gives him some street cred. That's what we're doing now. And Lil Wayne's a sellout anyway, but that's one of the reasons why they got him on there. He's step and fetch too. You know. Well, because Wayne does have crazy appeal with folks. I mean, he slurped that took pictures with Trump. Wayne gets around. Wayne gets around. I'm not big on Wayne, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that Wayne don't got no access, because Wayne got access. Wayne gets around. I've just never been big on his flow per se, but his charisma, oh, he gets around. He gets around. He got a strong fan base. Yeah, I did too. And I couldn't stand Woody Page. Skip paid his dues. But see, Skip cut his teeth. He learned what's happening. Oh, he a bigot. That's what he's like. And Woody Page reminds me of a sports journalist version of Jack Nicholson. Like he drank heavy, party hardy. He's just like one of them hard driven white boys. You know, that's what I get out of him. I still remember that time I watched Around the Horn and he was hating on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We're talking about 30, 40 years later. He talking about I never give him a job. And I said, okay, tell me everything I need to hear right there. Yeah, I had heard that. Yeah. Yeah, Troy Aikman around the same time as country singer Randy Travis, I had heard stuff. Yeah. For those who celebrate Father's Day, happy Father's Day to you. To your father, if you celebrate it. I don't I started it off in the video before everybody came on. But for those that do, it ain't though. It's not. Especially black fathers. Even the white fathers are the most absentee fathers in America. But anyway, we it's not. It's not. It's not. Yeah, well, if you've been a mentor to somebody's children or, it's like that. So it's the sentiment and it's the truth about it. You don't have to be an actual father to get, yeah, yeah. But anyway, um, that's how I'd heard that about Aikman. And that was about it. Yeah. No, it's all good. I appreciate it though. No, it's no sorry. Anybody who wants to acknowledge it, I will. You know what I'm saying. You know, appreciate you doing it, Tom. It's all good. You know, I understand. He does. Aikman is keeps it real about what he sees. You know, he's got that deep voice like he been drinking some whiskey, but he be on his stuff. I like Aikman. He's a very good announcer. Funny that two of the Dallas Cowboys turned out to be really good announcers because Aikman and Tony Romo both on point in different ways though. I don't now see that's the problem. And now him and Buck, when they was slurping Aaron Rodgers and they was slurping Andrew Luck, oh Lord, it was like Brokeback Mountain. I said that was one of the first Super I have to watch on mute because they was just giggling like girls about them two. I was like, no, no. It was embarrassing. Me and my homeboy were cringing. Cringed that. Cringed. I didn't like that mess. It was like Brokeback Mountain announcers. Oh, Buck, he's so great. Oh, American black woman is taken. I don't understand what that means. Well, but Brady won though. Brady won. And then see, I justify when you win. Because if we go by talent, right, Aaron Rodgers should have about 3 or 4 rings. What Brady did exceeded expectations. Aaron Rodgers is underachieved. Brady overachieved. I get that. And Brady put you in this trance because he could get it done. And he did. So I get it on that point, even though Chris Collinsworth is a buster. But I get it about the Brady slurp. I have no problem with that because Brady delivered. How you figure? Oh, because of that offside penalty? Or not the Super Bowl? Well, no. The Buccaneers were a better team in the Super Bowl. They were a better team in the Super Bowl. I didn't sign no cheating there. That play against was offside. I can't take nothing from Brady hitting 2 or 3 3rd and 10 plays in a row. They won the game. I'm not gonna say that. Believe me. Not too people gonna say that Mahomes got to cheat out of anything when you camp out in the AFC Championship game your whole career. I mean, when Mahomes doesn't make an AFC Championship game, you're gonna think something's wrong with the world. I mean, that's been his career. Yeah, I had to tap into Steve, but I said it the way it's supposed to be. He got a better resume. He's more established household. So why was he worried about Cat Williams? Cat can't do nothing to him. They're in 2 different weight classes. It's almost like he had a ghostwriter getting his ear and say, "Yeah, yeah, go get him. Put your wig back on and go get him." I'm like, come on, Steve. You ain't got to do that. You know, I wouldn't have said nothing. Because all I would have said to that is, I got a side gig on Family Feud. I've had successful TV shows, hosted shows, done films, done books. And I can hit the stage. And I've multiple ways. So what you going on about? I had nothing to do with your career this way or that way. You the one that's stuck making hood movies with Ice Cube, looking like some broke runt with a broke perm in your movies. Come on now. That's how I would have hit him if I was Steve Harvey. They were hood movies. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is incredible talent, but he didn't, you know, and that's the fact. They were hood movies. That Sunday movie he did with Ice Cube, Cat Williams looking like some, you know. No one talks about his whack movies. So, well, I think he was coming from it. I know why you're saying it. He's looking at the significance of the win. And that's the only reason why you would say that crackhead talk, because of how significant it was. Yeah, George Carlin was a bad comedian. He was great. He was very matter of fact. No, I know what CJ was trying to say. Because Eli won 2 rings. He won 2 rings and they were against the Patriots and they carried us, the way he did it. But he didn't take in the totality of his regular season and how ordinary he is. See, me and Ted disagree. I think Jordan Love is only getting better. And I saw something. Well, against Dallas, he looked like Mahomes' second coming. And he wasn't that bad against Frisco. Wasn't that bad against Frisco. I think there was some coaching in that one that cost him against Frisco. Because I do think he's going to be all right. Is he going to be Aaron Rodgers? No. He's a different type of talent. But he's got talent, though. He's got talent. But one thing, he waxed Dallas so bad, so he's legit. But I like Jordan all right. I think he can be better. I think he will get better. I think they got off to a slow start. Can't say he ain't played yet. How am I gonna ask about a guy is he a bust when he ain't even played yet? I gotta see what the Bears got for offense. I gotta see how the line is. I can't call him nothing. You can't call nobody no bust when they even lined up on the center. Cowboys look over by it. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say nothing about Trevor Lawrence. I wasn't gonna touch that. Yeah. The Cowboys overlook everybody, and then when they get their butt waxed, then it's the same old story. I'm not even. I can't say. Can't say. Gotta see him play. You're asking me to forecast a crystal ball on a guy having selling up at the center. Playing in college and NFL is two different entities. And will he be as good as Justin Fields was? Will he exceed Justin Fields with Chicago and the receivers and what kind of defense they got, what kind of line they got, how the coaches? I can't answer that till I see it. I did like Adam Dunn. You could make the case. I saw him in college. They have to get back to a player that gives them inside out, but it depends on what trajectory they're looking to go in. I'll be glad when Golden State Warrior impact goes away, and then I can see the Heat come back as what they are, because they haven't been themselves in a minute. You know, but I can't say. I can't. The Heat just need to get some scoring. They need a starter and a bench. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure they will, but they got to get somebody that will give them something for them. You know, they need to get pieces that complement what they're about and build around Bam. And you know good and well that Yoka and Yodoka ain't gonna go for that one. They just need to get him a thrifty veteran. They need a guy that's kind of been there a little while that can put some of those guys in place. They're good enough to be a playoff team next year, and then they could be a problem. So they're not that far off. They got some pieces. It's just a matter of what do you touch and what don't you touch. And Udoka's gonna figure it out because they're gonna be a feisty team. If the momentum kicks in the way it did at the end of the season, they'll be a playoff team, and they'll be very scrappy. So you crazy. You hope you joking. Cat's too soft. Well, football, yeah, that's a big one. Pat Riley is not gonna look at no cat. Though. Cat's too soft, and he couldn't be shooting them type of threes playing on Miami. Mm-mm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if he wasn't soft, that might be one thing, but and the way he comes up, I mean, he folds like a chair. So you gotta remember, but despite saying all that, some team will have to trade something to get him. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really care. If I don't have to talk about him, they won't get on the block more because they shoot perimeter shots and the league has pushed that agenda. They better win game five. They better. If they lose game five, that series will probably go seven. I don't think Dallas I think Dallas can feel momentum. That they better finish him off. They better. They'll be problematic if they don't. It'll be problematic. Please hit the like button too. I see there's like 5 likes, so feel free to hit that like too. Appreciate it. Everybody come through, hit that like. It's not about them putting up a great game. They need Tim Hardaway Jr., they need Lively, they need everybody that just came through to do it. Well, if that's the case, you need to go put that in put that on the lottery or something. I hope not, because if that's the case, then Dallas's game last night was a fraud. I don't know if they're gonna beat them like that. They haven't really waxed Dallas aside from game one. They beat them mentally in a couple of games, but they haven't waxed them. It's been pretty close, if you must know. So Wade would be considered the best player. He's Mr. Miami. And LeBron maybe be second. Shaq, Bosh, I'd say Alonzo Mourning. No, he's not. Oh, if the Mavericks win the series, that would break Boston up. That'd break up a lot of teams in the West. Are you kidding? That would change everything. You forgot that Wade was considered Mr. Miami Heat. That's why LeBron came there. And Wade was the best player in the team that didn't win the 2011 finals. There you go. If KD had a won, he'd have been like an 11th or 12th all time slot, cracking top 10. That's how big that would have been. Probably would have been top 10. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. Carry tomato cans. Okay. So Bam's a tomato can? Lonzo Mourning was a heart and soul, and he was an integral part on that 2006 team. And he came up big. And they both kind of fall in the high second tier slot with their positions. Tomato can. Oh yeah, he wins in Brooklyn. He would have been top 10. It's hard to argue against that because when you put in the body of work, his legacy, his impact, his stats, the guy's gonna have 30,000 points. So if he has 3 rings, 3 Finals MVPs, and he has the points and multiple wins, and he wins in the East and the West, yeah, 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 yeah. It'd have been hard to argue against him. I have no agenda. That'd be another old folks home retreat, playing with Katie and Devin Booker. Oh God, no. You gonna probably get your wish, cause the problem that he running into is the publicity is going bad for him. The he didn't think there's gonna be a big backlash about Darvin Ham. That's been a bad one. And then Hurley turned him down. That's 2 strikes. Then you stuck with old JJ Redick. That's 3 strikes. So and you got a squad that nobody's gonna want to be on. At best, you might be the fifth or sixth or seventh best team in the West at best. And in English, that means you're not getting out to past the second round. So yeah. Oh, A Rod is one of the greatest players I've ever seen. Um, Big A Rod fan. Yeah, well, Jenny, I think Rambus got like some video on them. That's what I think. Or they must have been in a freaky threesome or something. Yeah, they did Jerry West bad. I already did a video about that, as you know. There's a lot going on with that. I don't know how a role player who sucked as a coach in LA and Minnesota and acts like he don't know what he's doing has so much sway over a guy who's the logo and architect who put championship banners up what you pay for in LA. Make it make sense to me. Because I don't know. Yeah, A-Rod is one of my favorite baseball players ever. He was a great hitter, a great talent. I didn't waste my time with it. I didn't waste my time with it. I didn't even waste my time. I saw it and I didn't really make a comment about it. We don't talk about it when he was in Texas. They sucked. And I had to watch the game one time when they came back to Seattle. I had my TV on mute and I could still hear the boos. It was horrible that first weekend when he came back and they got spanked. Their team sucked. Seattle won all them games that first year. I remember that very well in '01. Very loud. I think I didn't even have to use Q-tips. My wax came out automatically. Now, they not a last place team, but let's just be 100. They're not good enough to be a contender. And are they a second tier team? I mean, they got a lot of problems. And I'm going to say this again. It's going to happen to LeBron. 40 is going to kick in where you start to really see the wheels come off. He went hard to pass Kareem, and that's all he really put his efforts in. But they're going to have a hard time. They're going to have a hard time. Well, that's what Magic. I don't think he was sad. I think he has more of an issue with how he carries himself. I don't think he was sad about him actually passing him. I think he was just because they have difference of philosophies. That's all. I'm taking Dirk. Dirk moved me more. Oh God, that's hard to say. I forgot. I forgot. It's the Pacific. I think Golden State. They in the same boat now. That's something like that. They're in the same boat. I mean, it don't really matter because they're not winning a championship. That's you see, when you talk about the Lakers, if you ain't winning a chip, that's it. So we can, if they ain't chip worthy, there's nothing to talk about. He not chip worthy. Nothing to talk about. Dirk took two teams to the finals, won a ring. Yeah, well, almost in a difference, two different things. But he proved himself more times than not, and I just give him his due. Yeah, they're not chip worthy. Ask Ted if they're chip worthy. Ain't nobody think the who thinks the Lakers are chip worthy. Potato chip worthy, but not championship chip worthy. Come on now. Who thinks the Lakers are chip worthy? They can't beat Denver. They're not better than Dallas. Not going to beat Minnesota. Anthony Edwards kind of like that. OKC will get better. That's four teams right there. So who are they going to be better than? And then you got upstarts like Houston coming. They can't even beat Sacramento. That's problematic right there. So I don't know, JT. I'm not in football mode right now. No, we don't do. Oh, so potential chip worthy? That's like Minnesota. I'm not even going to talk dignify that stuff. Potential chip worthy means you might have a possibility to get one. So Minnesota, maybe. New York with the right piece, maybe. That's potential. The Lakers ain't potential. There's no chip there. What about the Bucks? If they get some defense, I'm not sold on the Bucks though. I don't see nothing there. They need a bench and they need another starter. And they don't know how to utilize their offense. And they play dumb. Bobby Portis and uh, uh, they shoot too many threes. Lopez doesn't get enough touches. And what about Jay Rich? Like them in the slam dunk contest, but that was back 20 plus years ago. They need a lot of things. So, well, he thought that Dame was going to be the difference maker, and I think that was the logic. You need a 1-2 punch because they weren't getting enough scoring on the perimeter, so that was the reason. But well, I will tell you these. I'll tell you these cats this. If y'all want to talk about Wimby, you can start your own channel. I'm not gonna stop you, but I have no reason to talk about a guy who didn't get into the playoffs. I'm talking about, you know, yeah, Jay Rich was decent. He was good for his time. No, I'm not gonna sit around and obsess about him and talk about him. I'll say this: he looking better than Zion is looking right now. So I'll give you that. But we'll see what happens next year. We'll see. But you know, well, he got to bring it. He got to stay in condition and shape. You know, and he's got to ask more of his teammates. He better, or he'll be get bounced out. All right. Peace and the best to you, Tom. Always glad that you stopped through. Stay safe. Appreciate you always. Thank you. Yeah, Ted told me he liked it too. I had to do a little. I went in on Mike Tyson. I did not like what was said. And to be honest, it probably was a long time coming. Probably was a long time coming because I didn't like what he did. I don't like that comparison at all. I don't care who don't like it. If Mike Tyson himself don't like it, I'm say, yo, you can't be saying no stuff like that, especially about a cat that your felony conviction and his felony conviction is two different convictions. And I think the folks tolerate Mike Tyson because he has humbled himself and he's likable in a brute kind of way. Yeah, I had to go after Shannon for that. I had to. But it's like these cats are all on code that they have to slurp the plantation juice so they don't get none. I don't know what he's begging him for. I don't. I mean, I understand if he's trying to get the bag. I get it because if people are gonna pay for it, you know. Shannon Sharp goes after the people that the master tell him to go after. If you pay attention to it, that's what he do. You gotta remember something. As much as I respect his success and he was a great player and all that, the Club Shay Shay thing is basically like a Wendy Williams type of thing if you think about it, because you're not going to get it ain't gonna be no articulate thing going on there. He's gonna have selective people that fit an agenda, and that's what he's doing. So you're not gonna get anybody coming there with no great takes. It's very for the streets. George Brett, that's a good comparison because Young is underrated. But George Brett was a clutch dude. He came up so big. So both champions, great careers, but Brett was more pronounced though. I really like Brett a lot. Ooh, that's a tough one. Now, see, Ted always got the best questions. That's the one. Ooh, that's a good one because Mike Schmidt. I was more of a Schmidt dude. He came up big, homer and hitter, dominant, but it is close. It is close. It's close. It's close. That's a great question. That one is close. They were two of my favorite third basemen, all around players. But I did like the Phillies back then a little bit more. But Brett was a bad boy though. It's close. That's a good one. That's a good one. I don't know because he was getting older. And so to say that is one thing, but he did win a ring in Miami and he got to Eastern Conference Finals. So I don't know because it all depends on what Kobe. They were going to unload him because they wanted to keep the younger man to sell more jerseys. And Shaq was older. If they were the same age, they probably keep Shaq. So it's hard to say. He did get motivated in Miami for a couple years. So, oh, out of those two, Griffey, Griffey, but it's close though. I like um, I like A Rod a lot. I like A Rod a lot, and it wasn't like a complete blowaway because A Rod ain't nothing to sneeze at. But I give Griffey overall a little bit more. Mm. You can make that case. Yeah, you can make that case. He's got a strong argument. He got a strong argument. Got a very strong argument for that. He was clutch and he had a glove too. So I'll give you that. Yeah, he was, and then almost forgot his career because he went to Cincinnati and it just didn't really, it didn't manifest. He wanted to go back home and he got old. Well, I could have made the case for the Montreal Expos too. They were having a great year. There was a lot of great things that would have happened in '94, but it didn't happen though. So I don't know. Yeah, they had great pitching back then too, and had clutch hitters. Oh, excuse me. Oof. I'll go eat soon. I don't know where that question is coming from because no, he's not weak for not doing no slam dunk tasks. I know why he didn't do it. I know why he didn't. I got a theory about it. Stu, you can make a case. I mean, if they're going to keep on ignoring some of these guys who obviously, yeah, Francona is because he won 2 rings and he did good, and he's been consistent. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, so I agree with that. Guys that win multiple rings, it's tough. Um, Probably Cito because the way they did it. I mean, they got clutch hitting, they got clutch pitching. They did the thing, you know. But winning in Boston carries more weight, though. Just being honest. So that's the best way I can answer it. If we're taking it out of a Boston or Yankee or a Dodger equation, it's Cito because where he won. But when you win in a place that's romanticized already, then that's different. I have views. So there you go. So that's the best way I can answer it. But Francona is a legit coach. He's done a good job with Cleveland too. Yeah, you ain't lying. He should have won more rings, and he didn't, because he had a stockpile of talent. But sometimes it be that way. It be that way. I like Manny. I'm gonna leave it at that. I like him. Um, it's too hard and too long to do. Yeah, I agree about Bucci over Larissa. I'd have to do that as a video. I'd have to do it as a video. I can't do it off the top of my dome because I'm gonna leave some people out. Yeah, Bochy's been doing the thing, but Larusa won. He won, but not as dominant as you think he would. Because I gotta look at him almost like a Pat Riley of baseball managers. He gets in and gets stuff done. Do a video of what? The Celtics and the Lakers starting fives. I don't know if I will or not, because I really don't want to talk about those two teams. If you must know, I mean, I probably more inclined to do your starting five of Milwaukee and Phoenix than I would the Celtics and Lakers. Well, ring's a ring. Ring's a ring. He won one in Oakland. You forgot. You know, it was the earthquake one in '89. So he won and he won. So there you go. Baseball doesn't hold that against you though. We don't do ring counts like that though. Even amongst managers, if you win one, you're straight, but it doesn't hold the same. Um, Give George Carl. Not one of my favorite answers, cause not one of my favorite questions, cause I don't really like talking about neither one of those guys. I did like all of them was niceable, but George Carl get the edge in that one though. Yeah. Well, why would he? That was just a temporary gig. He wasn't gonna be meant to be ever after. I'm taking. Hmm. Oh, let me see. Let me think this one through. Hmm. I'm taking Magic Cooper and Kareem. Can't really say that. And that's not a fair question because Len Bias died. I can only go by his college. I could have gone woulda, coulda. I'll tell you this: Len Bias would have been like a link between Dominique Wilkins and LeBron James, and it would have been interesting. But I can't say that. That's not fair. It's not fair because he died, and it's asking too much. But he was something else, though. Yeah, he did do a good job with his offense. I'm taking Jordan. Taking Jordan. Well, they went for big men. That's why. Sometimes, again, you don't. Oh, you looking at stuff in hindsight. Sam Bowie 40 years ago was a can't miss center. And you're gonna take the big man at the time. I know that. I might take Elgin Baylor because remember he scored 27 plus points without a 3 point line and hand checking and the physicality of the league. And it makes a difference. You can't ignore those numbers. You can't ignore those numbers. Probably take Jerry West because remember he had the finals where he had scored 35 points in the finals with no 3 point line, with no zone defenses. There were things that helped Jordan out when he played with the stylings of the line. Jerry West was a bad boy. Yeah, he might beat him. Jordan said it himself. Before you say, wow, read what he said about him. He said that he didn't get to play against Jerry West or Oscar Robinson. Jerry West was a bad white boy. And I'm going to tell you something. Larry Bird used to cook Chicago. So Jerry West would have been a problem. Odin was like an old man who played good defense. Andrew Bynum never wanted to work and get himself together. Could have been a really good center. Didn't put the work in. I think Odin just settled one side and didn't come into view. Um, I hate these questions. Now that question I don't like. I'm gonna tell you why. That's Godfather, Godson, two of the greatest, and we're talking about two different eras. I'm gonna say Bonds because I grew up and got to watch him obviously more. But Willie Mays highlights and what he did, he represents the old guard. So it's kind of not fair to me on those two because um, it's well Tatum by default, man. Tatum by default because he played. Got to go with the guy who's been in the finals, had the success. That's the reason because of that. Brandon Roy's a woulda, coulda, shoulda, but we didn't get it. That's unfortunate. Pick Bonds, but it's close. He don't have to have no left. He's in the finals 2 times in his career in the last, what, 3, 4 years? That's the left all you need. We go by what you accomplished. We're looking at where you are. Brandon Roy didn't get there, and that's unfortunate. But Tatum has gotten there. It's kind of like What Jalen Brown said about Kyrie the other night. He said, "You played good, vintage Jalen." He said it was vintage Kyrie, but it wasn't enough. Gotta call it like it is. Well, that's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm not gonna, McGuire for me, because he proved it in Oakland, and he won. He was a World Series champion, and he came up big. Yeah, you better ask somebody else, because I'm not even wasting my time with that. McGuire came up big in Oakland, and came up big in Oakland and St. Louis. I don't know who you is, Mister Who is who. So you got something to say it, or I have to hit that delete button. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he. It's why it's taken 25 plus years. It's almost taken 30 years. Think about it. So I don't think so. Well, we were talking about his baseball career. Wasn't talking about how he looked. I'm taking Ricky. Great leadoff hitter. Winner wherever he went. Ricky was a threat. Ricky was something else. I like Robin Young a lot, but Ricky Henderson was one of my favorite players. Ricky could do it all. Ricky was a bad boy. Ozzy who? Or Ricky? What do you mean? You talking about Ozzy Smith or Ricky Henderson? Is that what you asking me? It's Ricky Henderson. I like Ozzy a lot, but come on now. Ricky Henderson. Now that's a great question here. This is a real good one. Ooh, this is good. I like the Ted question. Now, no offense to folks, but this is a great question because he always asks me, I have to think. A Rod, but only because Cal Ripken didn't have Eddie Murray for his duration of his career. Had he had Eddie Murray, I would have taken Cal Ripken Jr. I think playing all them games and not having a Murray around, and he's still a Hall of Famer, and he still had a great career, but with a Eddie Murray around, it's probably even more pronounced. Because he won that World Series in '83, and he had a great career. Winfield, but it's close. So that's a great one because Eddie Murray's one of the most underappreciated switch hitters ever, and a great talent. But Winfield was 5'2". He was something else. Russell Wilson, come on now. Just come down to the ring, the more success. Phillip Rivers never came up big. That's all. That's all. Albert Pujols, but Ortiz is a clutch player though. Ortiz came up big, but Albert was, like I said, as great as Ortiz was, and he came up big come clutch time. If there was no Barry Bonds, Albert Pujols would have owned the National League. That should tell you all you need right there. Well, no, you acting like Russell Wilson was some buster. Phillip Rivers was what we call a nice, legit second tier quarterback, gunslinger, a junior whopper, Brett Favre. But Russell Wilson had one, I know Legion of Boom, but he did go to two Super Bowls. Should have won two. And he was instrumental in drives. Phillip Rivers never came up big like that. You know what? There's some truth to that, but then Mahomes is a better player than him. better totality of using his arm strength, and doesn't make the kind of mistakes Russell did. He got a little bit more direction and can create. But I know what you're getting. I ain't just talking about the light skin and the hair and all that. But the thing about it is Mahomes won with less too. They went and got Johnny Graham, got rid of their best center. Had actually Metcalf has some great talent if you think about it. Because once you get past Tyreek Hill, who have they had at wideout that you go, ooh, think about it. Think about it. So that separates the two. He ain't have no beast mode in the backfield. Kareem Hunt for that year and what else? Not a dominant running back. Kelsey, okay, great. So that's what I'm saying. So that's why I break that down. I know where you're going at it. I thought about that once upon a time too. But then he's a better player than Russell. His agility, his 5'2"ness, his mental composure is better. I mean, of course, Andy Reid's a better coach than Pete Carroll, but Pete Carroll gets you hyped up. But Mahomes just done showed me so many different ways. The way he won the Super Bowl against Philly, the way he won the Super Bowl against Frisco, he's clutch. And I can't say that. Drew Brees, better career, better stats, got the ring. It's not too many people I'm gonna take Phillip Rivers over before you ask me, because Phillip Rivers. I'll put you where Phillip Rivers is. He's in that Jay Cutler pile. They're not in the Drew Brees pile. Okay, they do. And good to see you, Charlene, because I'm gonna go in about 10 minutes. But I already did a video about that. Well, I didn't do a video about that. I spoke on it on Too Raw, and I said he went from Bella Cheat to Bella Cheeks. That's what I said, from Bella Cheat to Bella Cheeks. It's legal. I ain't caring about what he do. He got nothing else going on because ain't nobody gonna hire him for a head coaching job. He said that, but he shouldn't diss black folk. But they do it all the time. But I think he's just going after Eminem because he doesn't really, care for him, and I understand that. But a Meg the Stallion, because she wouldn't work with him or something. So I don't know. And like I said, that's my thoughts and takes on that though. But I'm not the biggest Eminem fan. Um, Rappers disrespect, yeah, they get to do that on that plantation. Talked about that all the time in my videos. I've said that. That's why people are getting tired. Some of them are getting tired. Some of them aren't. It all depends on who you ask. Good thoughts though, Charlene. Glad you came through though. And I saw what he said. Well, he was a white boy who blew up and he worked with Dr. Dre and 50. You need to ask yourself what you think about Dr. Dre and 50. And you see how 50 will hold his ankles for Eminem at every chance he gets. Usher, all time as an R&B artist, is probably 26 to 51. I don't rank him high. I think he's good, the best showman of his generation. Very talented dude, but it doesn't come across the way it's supposed to. It comes across gimmicky. He can sing, he can dance. There's not a lot of deep in the songwriting. So, you know, uh, I I like this to like him, but I always looked at him as a junior whopper Michael Jackson. I just never felt that he was like, I never got him. Well, I don't know about them being left-handed together. I just think that one guy was good for another one. Another guy was seen as an afterthought. Because Eminem put 50 on when nobody was touching 50. 50 was seen as an afterthought. How to Ride was a tight song back in 99, and he was dissing, and Jay-Z was like, what's a 50? But nobody was checking him. I said 26 through 51. I said somewhere in there, so that should kind of tell you. And that's being nice on a good day. I really don't think about him like that. I like some of his stuff, but he don't hold no weight to me. He don't carry no weight. And it's a shame too, because he puts like his halftime show is a good example. I love the roller skating. He got and it just don't finish. It's like he gives me, but I don't get to the finish line with him. and I can't do it. Can't. A move, a move. Dirk's one leg, because he took what Reggie Miller did, and then he didn't kick, and then he made that work. Kobe's fadeaway was great, and Shaq's jump hook was very good, but that one leg, that Dirk brought him oh, he was scary with it. Being 7 foot in that wind spring, come on now. Well, I only had to bring it with Michael and Prince because Usher ain't in R. Kelly's level. And they're the two most important R&B artists the last 25 years. So if you're gonna get into this King R&B, so he's not seeing R. Kelly. He ain't got no catalog. Again, I laughed when he did it, but the Alicia Keys part was the real part. Yeah, Shaq jump hook was underrated. He got a lot out of it. I thought Usher could have had a great halftime show if he had to tighten up a couple parts. There's a couple things could have been added, a couple things eliminated. The Alicia Keys part could have been eliminated. I might do a video about it. I don't know. I'm not. Well, it's because of his transgender child. That's why he's doing it. That's Hollywood, though. I mean, you gotta remember where they are. You gotta remember where they are in Hollywood. I'll tell you about the Hollywood plantation. What you want me to say? What you want me to say? When I call the plantation, what do you think goes on a plantation auction? What do you think go on? Terry Crews, you remember all that goes on? You know how they get down. You know how they get down. Do you know how they get down? I ain't got to tell you how it goes on. That's just a dime a dozen. He keeps a job. Well, I know some people because of R. Kelly's legalities, but the music speaks for itself. Who was in the picture? Oh no. Well, he's doing it because of representing, but that's how it is out there too. You know. Well, it's always been the thing in Hollywood because it's for pay for stay. I don't knock people's orientation if that's what they are. I don't like it being pushed as a the agenda. That's the problem I got. And don't make it like it's the same as being black. But the agenda in Hollywood is pushing agendas. That's the problem I have with it. I have a big problem with it. No, I don't think so. No. Well, if you choose to be calling uncle dad, that's because you trying to politic your children. So that's more about your lack of your real role. My aunt once said something too much is true. I can be your best friend, but I can't be your friend. When you are a parent, you can be the best friend, but you can't be a buddy. So you got to learn how to separate the two. So if you want to be an uncle dad, well, then they treat you like that. Rock him for me, even though Nas has got the bigger catalog, but Rakim's flow ain't been matched. That guy was a science. Well, some people are born that way. Some people were born gay, you know. But I am not going to diss somebody for their choices. I just don't want it being pushed down my throat. If you are, you are. Just don't push the agenda on me. Don't make it like you got to do this and that. But I'm not gonna be hating on folks either, you know. Well, that's not hard for me to answer. I take Aretha over Whitney. As far as the catalog, yes. Career too. Whitney's, vocalist up there, but Aretha, I got her box set musically, the better songs, you know. It ain't hard for me. I don't know if y'all watch Drink Champs and they always take everything is hard, this or that. No, I don't drink and I can make a pick. I have not come across anything. I will think about it, but I can make an and or choice. It ain't hard. And I love Whitney, but Aretha got her beat with the songs. Nas got a better catalog. I will concede that. But Rakim's science, the way he broke down the lyrical bars, and there would be no Nas without Rakim. And I say that because Rakim had better material. He had a classic album with Eric B. But Rakim was like in his own orbit. If you want that aesthetic of hip hop, depends on what kind of aesthetic of hip hop you want. Depends on what you want. You know, I think he do. I remember he did an interview where he said he didn't spend a lot of money on videos and stuff. So he said he took care of his business. So he didn't get pimped out by, but when they were Mottola and all that was going with Sony, he took care of his money. So I'll do that in the video. I'm not gonna do that here. That'd take too long. Cause anything after 6, the obvious ones, Shaq, Wilt, Kareem, Russell, Moses, Hakeem, Jokic. And then after that, David Robinson, and then I have to think about the last two. That's fine. That's fine. I just talking about me. We all have different tastes about who we like. But see, Aretha for me with the versatility was like a female version. Well, see, the Supremes was a group, so I can't compare an artist against a group because a group has two or three more parts to one. But Supremes had great songs. They had great songs, and Donna Ross's impact with them is incredible. But Aretha Franklin with RESPECT defined a generation. She took a song from Otis Redding, turned into an anthem for femalehood, womanhood, became an anthem. You take that how you want. And a dominant artist, versatile artist. Go back to 98, the Grammys, nominated for Kisses Still a Rose with Lauryn Hill. Kisses Still a Rose, Lauryn Hill produced that cut. Then she gets on the show. Luciano Pavarotti is sick, can't perform. She does a concerto opera. How many acts do you know can do an R&B pop hip hop joint and then turn around and do an opera? That's why I'm giving Aretha her due. And we're not even talking about natural. We're not even talking about her Amazing Grace double album gospel or her jazz stuff. She did stuff with Ray Charles live at the Fillmore. That's what I'm coming from. Versatility, dominance. But she ain't for everybody. And we even talk about all the cover songs that she do. Because Dirk's got the ring. And that's what it come down to in that argument. They both got 30,000 plus points. Both league MVPs. Carl got one more. But I think because of the ring, I give the Dirk because he did more with his team. He never had a John Stockton. We don't know what Dirk would have been like with another. Oh yeah, Mahalia was bad. I had Mahalia Jackson box set. Mahalia was incredible. 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 No argument there. Yeah, it ain't for everybody. We're not gonna sit here and say the end all be all because it's different criteria for different folks. It's your ears. Music is all forms of entertainment are subjective. When we talking sports, music, movies, TV, I mean, now granted, if someone is dominant, you're gonna have to acknowledge whether you want to, you know. Because if somebody come up here and say Carmelo Anthony's better than Michael Jordan, I'm gonna have to let them have it, just like. But there's debates, and music is very subjective. I just happen to be a big Aretha Franklin fan, and she could cover songs, and she was incredible. But I love Mahalia too. Well, I'm not gonna say he choked a lot. It's just that he did get to two finals. It ain't three finals. Ain't nothing to sneeze at. Two of them with Utah. So That's all. I'll go back on different things. I just on focusing, but I just like what Dirk did because he took a team that no one saw and he won. You know, and he never had a player of John Stockton's magnitude that he played with. Steve Nash wasn't in, Jason Terry wasn't in. So for anybody come at me with that, that's not subjective. That's fact. There's a difference. I ain't got no problem with her throwing shade. She had to come in a very sexist industry to prove herself as a pianist, as a singer, songwriter, and she used to cut albums multiple times. People are competitive. It's a competitive business. She came from an era where that was the norm, and it still is because people diss each other. People know when people got chops and they don't. I'm not bothered by that. But, you know, Ted, come on now. Don't do it. Steve Nash was not the Steve Nash he became in Phoenix, and Don Nelson never won anything. He built up teams, he didn't win. Try again. Dirk Nowitzki took Avery Johnson to the finals, and then Rick Carlisle. With Jason Terry and God, who was a point guard? I can't remember. Come on now. Me, Charlene, that's not a weird cosign. Well, I take the Bee Gees on because they can make a case for their songwriting. Barry Gibb, they came up big and they reinvented themselves and they had a long career. So I prefer the Bee Gees. Bee Gees are better songwriters. I'll give you that with Lennon McCartney, but if I had to say who I think was better, I take the Bee Gees. I'm not even gonna you don't. Yeah. Jason Kidd and I forgot who was the guard when they played Miami in the finals in 90 in '06. But no. Yeah, I do too. Yeah. Roundabout on of a lonely heart. Yeah, I like yes too. So but that's the truth. Well, they wrote big songs. They were a breakthrough for British act. They wrote great songs. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say that excuse me, they wrote great songs, and that's what it's about at the end of the day, you know. But if we talking the musicality and all the other stuff, that's debatable. I think the BG showed me more versatility. Yeah, he probably rated. He'd be like a Junior Whopper LL Cool J. He's catchy, you know. Nelly was catchy. He did enough for the dudes to like and for the chicks to like, you know. But it wasn't like he was some deep rapper. He was somewhere between LL Cool J, not so much of the wordplay, but the catchiness, and somewhere between LL and Drake is what I would say Nelly was like. That's how I would describe him. I'm taking Luda because Luda was catchy too. Nelly was versatile, but I'm taking Luda. I had more Luda moments, but Nelly was catchy. But I like Luda a bit more. But I don't sit around listening to neither one of them, though. Because Luda's style of rapping, I have to be in a certain mood for. Nelly was catchy. So anyway. I'm not gonna answer that one to you because that's not even funny. Master P, I like as a businessman, and he had a catchphrase make him say but he no, we don't do that. Snoop and Nas, I'm going with Snoop because of the voice, and he had a classic album and he had a classic impact, and I would listen to Snoop more. Nas is a better writer, and you can debate his rapping, but Snoop's impact is felt on a lot because he was more of a game changer. There was no one like Snoop. I dig Nas a lot, but I got to give Snoop the edge because I'm more. Because I tell you like this, Snoop could go into Nas'sville and pull off something, and people would get into it. I don't think Nas could put when he tried to do more poppy, accessible stuff. It made him corny. Yeah, I like Will. I think Will is underrated. I think when he did the more catchier, poppier stuff, people don't realize how he can flow. Because with DJ Jazzy Jeff, brand new funk, Will spit some bars. It's just that you've seen him do the more karaoke, hammer, puffy type of thing, and that's what has you don't really have appreciation. But he came out in an era where you did have to spit, and even when he was doing catchy jingle rap, he had presence on the mic. He ain't no slouch. He just done some corny stuff, which you kind of, but he definitely he had a flow. He had a flow. I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of people trade their pinky to have Will Smith's career because he hit with Switch back in '05. He hit with a group and he hit solo. Not too people can do that. Come on, Ted. Yeah, well, Snoop is like Teddy Pendergrass, like an old R&B song. That's what got him over. Oh, he been had crossover. He's like they call him like the Black Lee Coca. Russell Simmons said. I mean, he is. He's an iconic figure in hip hop. Might be the most might arguably be as known as anybody you can mention because as a free agent when he signed with No Limit and he went to work with Pharrell and them, I mean wherever he went he hit. So yeah, no, Jade ain't that clever. She liked the money. She didn't come up with it. I want to say one of them songs he did was Ghost written by Nas. Out of those two, I'm going to say Jay Z. But considering how far he came with what he did, you can make that case. I'm gonna get ready to go. It's about my time because I gotta go eat. Been on here 2+ hours. Appreciate everybody coming through. And I may come back tomorrow. Appreciate when they stop through. I may come back tomorrow. If I don't, I'll definitely be back Monday. But appreciate everyone that came through. Appreciate thoughts, comments. If you celebrate Father's Day, the best. If you don't, either way, hope you have a blessed day. Until next time I see you. Appreciate all the comments, all the words, great debates, great conversation. Please stay blessed, stay safe, stay well. Till next time I catch you. Peace the best. I'm out.